Hi, I'm Zara Lantzman. Welcome to Sports Now. Today I'm here to interview Brandon Reno. So tell me a little bit about yourself.
So obviously my name is Brandon Reno. I graduated with my undergraduate in nursing in May, which I started a job in the emergency department at Geisinger in around July. So I've been working, and recently I just started my master's in business administration, where I'm continuing my baseball career for one more year.
Okay. So what does your daily schedule consist of?
So my daily schedule consists mostly based off of sleep. I work the night shift as a nurse, so it's a little bit harder to get as much sleep as I can, especially now that I have to try and cycle and get between practice and also schoolwork. So my schedule consists of sleep, baseball practice, schoolwork, and then work if I have it.
So what do you find yourself spending more time on?
I definitely spend most of my time in the hospital. I mean, I only work 3 12-hour shifts. However, it becomes a lot, especially on days that we're busy. I just see myself spending a lot more time in the hospital than I do on the baseball field, that's for sure.
So why did you choose Wilkes for graduate school?
I chose Wilkes for graduate school because of the opportunities that I've received as an undergraduate. Obviously, our coaching staff were very adamant about Nick and I coming back and Dom, but the ability to go to a school that I'm comfortable with, also receiving my master's degree, and being able to compete, especially with the kids that I know, was the reason why I came back.
Okay. So does playing baseball make it harder to be a registered nurse, or like vice versa?
The biggest thing when making my decision was that it can't make it harder for me to be a registered nurse, because obviously sometimes you have to make decisions that can impact a patient's outcome. So it's definitely harder to be a baseball player than it is a registered nurse. And I really try and get that balance between when I can make it to practice and sometimes I have to miss, but it's because you have to be mentally focused to be a nurse.
So, and then what was the driving force behind staying an additional year? You kind of like touched on it a little bit, but.
Driving force behind staying was, as a baseball player standpoint, was the fact that the opportunities that our coaching staff gave us. They worked really well with us, and I think that with how much stuff that coach does for the players, I think that I wanted to give back to him and understand that I may have an impact in the success of our season. So that was kind of my driving force in staying. And also on a school standpoint, I think that a lot of people were telling me it's better that you get your degree now than later. It's a lot easier to come back to school when you're still fresh than start working and then go back later.
Makes sense. So how do you balance everything?
Balancing everything was hard at first. In the fall, it was just practice, so I got a chance to get my feet wet. Understanding when I can make practice, when I can't, was the biggest thing for me, because I've always had a problem with missing practices when I was in my undergraduate degree. So learning that fine balance between how much sleep I can get versus when I can make practice. So it's hard sometimes, but I just try to go to the practices when I get enough sleep and make sure that I am at work on time and I feel good to go to work, but it makes it difficult.
Yeah. All right. Well, thank you. Up next will be Nick Pronti, who's also a registered nurse, and we'll be asking very similar questions. And we're back. I'm here now with Nick Pronti. He's also going to talk about being a nurse. So just tell me a little about yourself.
Hey, Zara. Happy to be here. A little bit about myself is I'm originally from New Jersey, but I've come back out here into Wilkes-Barre, Pennsylvania for work, for baseball, and for some graduate schooling. And I'm getting used to Wilkes-Barre, Pennsylvania. Different from New Jersey, but happy to be here. Yep.
Yeah. So what does your daily schedule consist of?
So I'll just run you through. I worked last night, rolled through to here for this interview, but work from 7 p.m. to 7 a.m. So that 12-hour shift, I roll into bedtime during the day, and then usually practice is around 3 o'clock, try and mix in a little weightlifting to stay in some good shape, and then mix some meals in and a little more sleep, and obviously some schoolwork. So.
Wow. What do you find yourself spending more time on?
More time on, I'd say, is definitely in the hospital. Me and Brandon work 36 hours a week, so that's 3 12-hour shifts. So I'd say most of our time is spent in the hospital, but then aside from that, I'd say the second most time we spend on is definitely on the field.
Okay, so why did you choose Wilkes for graduate school?
Just the opportunities that Wilkes has to offer. I know a lot of students that went through the MBA program as well, and they had nothing but good things to say. And I know the opportunities that it'll bring to get this degree through Wilkes.
So does playing baseball make it harder to be a registered nurse, or like vice versa?
I'd say being a registered nurse, I'm going to go against what Brandon said and say being a registered nurse makes it harder to be a baseball player, because we have to be so focused in the hospital and spend a lot of our time there. So to bounce back from what we see and do there, and then put all of our focus on the field, that's pretty difficult. So I'd say harder to be a baseball player while being a nurse. Yeah.
So what was your driving force behind staying an additional year?
Honestly, my coach's persuasion, Kevin Grabowski, he was persuasive. We had a sour taste ending our last season, so I was really excited to come back and have an opportunity to play again when he had called me and said that was an option. So that was really the driving force, was the end of last season and my coach's persuasion.
Okay, and then how do you balance everything?
To be honest, I'm still working on that. It's been a few months since I began working, but just balancing, really just sleep, making sure that I get that in. I know my body needs to rest, but that's probably the hardest balance as of right now, but still working on it.
Yeah. All right, thank you. When we come back, Dominick will be talking about his life as a teacher. And we are back with Sports Now. I'm here with Dominick Bayo. Tell me about yourself.
Hello, my name is Dominick Bayo. I'm originally from Swarsville, Pennsylvania, which is about a 10-minute drive here to Wilkes University. Came here with the aspirations of being a baseball player and also being a teacher, and after 5 years, I have seemed to accomplish both of those.
So what does your daily schedule consist of?
So with my first year teaching, I was still working out a few things. I had to get my teaching degree, teaching certification, which I just got a few weeks ago. So I've been bouncing around daily subbing and long-term subbing. I long-term subbed before the season, knowing that the season was right around. So right now, I'm not as hectic as I was before during the preseason. So I'm kind of happy with that, since Brandon and Pronti aren't getting much sleep. On the other hand, I'm getting a lot of sleep right now.
Nice. What do you find yourself spending more time on?
Well, during the preseason, I was long-term subbing. I was in a 8th grade social studies position for 2 months. I found myself a lot of the times trying to get the right lesson in and not really knowing the students very well, since I only was with them for so long. It was kind of a struggle to practice during the season, because I would show up late to practice and getting my lesson ready for the next day. So it was teaching, but now it's just full-on baseball and school.
Got it. So why did you choose Wilkes for your graduate school?
The education department here for my undergrad was great. All my professors were amazing, and all the courses were helped me be a better person and also a better teacher. And I knew that carried over into the graduate school, even if it's online. The professors still try to reach out to you and try to connect, even in an online environment.
Got it. So does playing baseball make it harder to be a teacher, or vice versa?
Our coach always says, Coach Mandrowski says, when you are at baseball, the real world's turned off. So I try not to bring teaching over into baseball and baseball into teaching. It's just when you're at one, you focus on one, and then you go about your day when you leave.
Got it. So what was the driving force behind staying an additional year?
Nick mentions how we had a sour taste left in our mouth, which is true. We thought we were a lot better than we were. So far this year, we're trying to show that to everyone because we already believe it in ourselves. The driving force is so much that I'm also considering coming back next year to continue another master's degree. So apparently we're doing something right here at Wilkes.
Gotcha. And then how do you balance everything?
Like stated before, I'm not really hectic right now, so balancing everything is just making sure I'm eating right, making sure I'm staying connected to the team as an older guy, and just trying to pursue my degree, which I'm almost done with, and still keeping the eyes on the prize with baseball.
Gotcha. All right, thank you, and good luck on your season.
Thank you.